in 2008, there was this whole atmosphere and the whole buzz around a T20 tournament that India had launched. And Chennai truly and rightfully had picked up a team which is now $1 billion. Sir, if it's $1 trillion, correct me. But if it's $1 billion company by itself, Chennai Super Kings, as all of you would be dearly cheering for in 10 days' time. That team had launched its first ever attempt to building a squad. And in 2008, I was playing a game between India Cements and Jolly Rovers, Chemplast. I turned up for Chemplast and I picked up 6 wickets that particular day and went back home with a man of the match trophy. But what had ensued was I had given auditions to several teams, tried to make phone calls to understand if there was a talent, and there were no auctions at that point of time. And like I said, people just turn up and push you to the next level. Mr. Krishnamachari Srikanth was the chief guest on that night. He picked up the mic and I said, "Hey Ashwin, paatana, samaya bowling padra, ani eppodume solluvanda, ani ninda best nu solluvanda, yarume illa, kalagana seriya, Chennai Super Kings ku poi pinninno, Muthaiya Muralidharan kitta ella juicy urinjinno." And I was famished because I wasn't in the team. And then he turned left towards Kasi and said, Kasi, ediliya? And that particular line and the fact that Kasi sir was standing in the podium changed my life altogether. I received a contract from Chennai Super Kings the very next day. You just don't know how funny life is. People can push you onto different perimeters and different levels. And 2008, I went into the dressing room, met all the greats, Matthew Hayden, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I mean, I had very little words. I didn't win an argument because I didn't try to have one. But I had sat through 2008, and somewhere in that particular season, I was a no one then. I mean, where am I to play in a team that had Muthaiya Muralidharan? Mr. N. Srinivasan then was an office bearer in the BCCI. If I'm not wrong, sir, you might have been the treasurer or the secretary. I think he was the treasurer. So Mahendra Singh Dhoni was walking back from a press conference, who I wish to thank very deeply. I would be indebted for the rest of my life to Mahendra Singh Dhoni for what he gave me. He gave me an opportunity with the new ball to go head on against Chris Gale, to probably know 17 years later that Anil Bhai would be talking about that particular episode. And I'm truly grateful for that. He was walking back with his usual, people around him. There were a lot of people. I'm not sure Dr. Baba was still hanging around. He might have not been there. He was not the media manager then. He was coming back and I was catching balls that Jacob Oram was tonking from the center of the pitch. I was catching it with the mitt. I'd never seen a baseball mitt till then. So I thought I'll catch it with it. It was relatively easy than catching it two hands. And Mr. Srinivasan out of nowhere jumped out. He was wearing this, I think he was wearing one of these overcoats, and he just walked in. He said, MS, that's how we addressed him at that point of time. And he looked at him and he said, there is a boy called Ashwin. He bowls off spin and he is very good for Tamil Nadu. I think you should have a look at him. And he looked at sir and said, yes sir, I will look at him. The conversation ended. But I still very, very clearly remember that moment and several other moments from there on. He called me in 2013 and said, they wanted to drop you, but I put my foot down and said, he was the player of the series in the last series. We need to continue with him. If you want, play two off spinners. And that was my first game of having played with Harbhajan Singh in this wonderful ground. I played head on with him in a test match, knowing what it stood for me. And several years later, he recalls every one of those moments. I'm just astonished at the kind of memory he still holds with himself. I would again be failing in my duties if I didn't refer to Anil Bhai at all in this conversation. Several moments we've had when he was the coach of the team. Anil Bhai is one of those interestingly wonderful souls that I've met. He's so insightful, knows the game inside out, completely honest, but yet would never hurt anyone in a conversation. That's one lesson I learned from him, because I'm honest to a point where I can hurt people. And since I met Anil Kumble and worked with Rahul Dravid and worked with Rohit Sharma and several other people, I've understood when you make conversations that you don't necessarily hurt people and you can get on the other side. life truly is a very enjoyable journey when you come across such wonderful people and learn from them. I would also like to thank one wonderful person that was my first ever first class team captain, Subramanian Badrinath, sitting in the front row here. 3 days before, I mentioned to my wife, Balabhai messaged me and congratulated me, Badri did not do it. I'm so sad. Usually he's the first one to do it, but he is present here. That tells me I'm so glad, Badri, that you could make it here. I'm so glad. Balabhai was the first one who told me, Ashwin, you know there have been several good cricketers and I think you're as good as Kapil Dev. This was the year 2006. And he told me the day you pick up a 5-wicket haul and make 100 in a first class game is the day I would truly think you're on the way to playing for India. The game was against Railways here at Chepauk and I picked up 5 in the game and got 100. And Balabhai said, you're not looking back from here onwards. Some wonderful people in this audience. If I've forgotten somebody, please forgive me. Vidyut is sitting here. R. Srinivasan is sitting here, played a lot of cricket with me. Bosky has turned up. I saw him there. Hari, Aparjit, Indrajit, all of them. And Ashwin Krist is here. I think the hallmark of a player coming from a certain state is seeing the cricketers that he's played with and see them turn up for an event like this. Abhinav Mukund is hosting the event that I'm being felicitated at. I think that's a great gesture in itself. Abhi, thank you for doing this. Dinesh Karthik's voice. I'm slowly turning this into a note of thanks. DVR sir is here. Thank you, DVR sir. Paji, thank you for all your efforts through here. Okay, small story before I wind up. A very funny one. I want to finish it on a funny note. A lot of people spoke about how I've tormented left-handers day in and day out. My first tryst with this great batsman that Tamil Nadu produced, Mr. Sridharan Sharath, is sitting in the front row. I picked up the ball. I was playing for Spick. Somebody told me, if you're that good an off-spinner, try and get this guy out. Sharath didn't quite rate me that day. I did get him out at ICL Guru Nanak. He got caught at slip. And I played several more games against Sharath. It's very fair to note he only got beaten, never got out to me again. That's the quality of the batsman that he possessed. That's the kind of batsman he was. And I bowled to Sharath a lot. And hence, I became a far better bowler to left-handers. A lot of coaches are here, my childhood coaches, several other coaches who have passed through my TNCA journey, and managers, rightfully so, Mr. Velu, Mr. Hari, Dr. Baba, who's not been a manager only for the TNC teams. He was a manager in 2014 and 15 season when India was playing in Australia. I went through some tough times again, like Srinivasan sir had pointed out. He was a pillar of support, and I always cherish it. He's always stood by for the game. His wonderful son, and his sons are wonderful cricketers too. I really wish to see Inder go through the journey again this year. But all in all, before I wind up, I would like to say one thing. This place has given me so much that I always keep coming back to TNCA. A lot of people keep asking me, why do you want to go back there? Tomorrow I might not be alive, but my soul will be hanging around this place. That's what this place means to me. Thank you so much.